Could it be? Is Zikalonim being pushed out? If Jikalo is defeated, we must capture the Lord of the Secret Palace. The generals could not shake off their anxious feelings while putting pressure on Cirrus. They originally wanted and expected a picture in which they would quickly deal with Cirrus and support the Zikalo side. Zikalo's energy, which can be felt from behind, is gradually weakening, and Cirrus, who seemed to be able to catch it quickly, is still alive. Even if it's funny to me, is it okay for me to care so much about the battlefield on the First Rider's side? Sueya. Cirrus widened her eyes and swung the Manbing. My body was heavy because I had lost a lot of blood, but it was enough to spread a stronger chill. Enemies should also be slowed down accordingly. Pure white cold spread in all directions and filled the battlefield. Vilagul and Seekin also released magical energy and swung their swords to push away the cold. Every time Manbing and the two swords collided, the cold and demonic energy spread around them, and the three people were revealed for a moment. In the eyes of the general, Cirrus, who was flooded with evil, clearly had a loophole, but every time he aimed his sword at that point, he was met with a counterattack. It was difficult for the generals to understand that fact throughout the fight. You somehow managed to withstand it with the power of your weapons. But this level of cold is not common underground. This is the last time I will have to hold on by grabbing. Vilagul gritted his teeth and shouted. Like Zikalo, he is a member of the Raymir family, which means he is a demon tribe that rules the Salt Zone. Although not as good as Zikalo, he was also able to use the flame of the true demon world. Creep. Suddenly a huge pillar of fire rose up before Cirrus' eyes. Cirrus, who was charging, turned quickly to avoid it, and in the meantime Seekin's sword grazed her side. Cirrus had to pull out once again, but there was already a new pillar of fire behind him. However, for the rest, Cirrus had no choice but to forcefully increase Manbing's power once more to offset the flames with cold energy. Ha ha ha! Two swords, flames and magic energy that suffocates your lungs with every breath you take. In it, Cirrus was barely able to survive at every moment. If I had let my guard down for even a second, I would have been fatally injured right away, and the same would have happened if I had reacted even slightly wrong. The sense reached to its limit amidst the countless number of cases where one's life could be lost at any time. Breaking through it all and finding a way out. In fact, fighting is always like that. How long has it been since we've had a fight like this? Looking back, Cirrus couldn't remember having such a natural fight recently. Jean and Baradin. Dante. Cirrus. Among those known as the representative second generation of each faction, he has clearly fought more comfortably than them. As the only daughter of Talaris, she was born with the destiny to receive everything from the Big Palace. Talaris and the seven swords of the Big Palace always protected her, and even when she was alone against those stronger than herself, she always had the special power of Manbing. And the two biggest wars in years. Although Cirrus participated in those wars, he was in a better position than his peers. Dante had defended the Sword Emperor Castle alone even before Gleek woke up, and Jean had rallied all the forces on Earth and put an end to the war of evil on his own. Baradin was also corrupted by Kiliak's scheme, but eventually overthrew him and became the head of the family now ruling an axis of the world. Of course, Cirrus knew it well. The fact that he couldn't become the protagonist of a huge fight like them wasn't just because he was inferior to them. For example, Cirrus has had no choice but to walk a relatively smooth path so far. Therefore, although I trained harder than anyone else, I had no choice but to fall short in actual battles where my life was at stake. Bigung had always been neutral until the Bamul Union, so it couldn't just attack other forces just to fight. Looking back at the banquet, was it the first time I nearly died while sparring with Jean at Runkendal's banquet? As the swords of the generals continued to clutter my eyes, the memory of that day suddenly came to mind. While fascinated by that embarrassing but not unpleasant memory, Cirrus unconsciously struck down the enemy's swords. It is 100 times more dangerous now than it was that day. However, Cirrus was just beginning to feel that the shell of the secure fate that had bound her all this time was breaking. As the person who will become the master of the secret palace, I must always be at the forefront when the world is in danger. The true meaning of the secret existence of the world-protecting secret palace that is unknown to the world. Now that the underworld has begun to invade, she must leave the safe level ground and walk down a thorny path. Fit. Seekin's sword grazed Cirrus' neck. Death risk renewed every second of a single battle. Every time he crossed that danger, Cirrus was captivated by the feeling that his vision became even more open. Little by little she began to understand the meaning of growth that Luna had mentioned. Growth meant breaking through a new phase of destiny. It was about overcoming fear and despair. These bastards are so scary. Cirrus sighed and grabbed Manbing. Experience. Instead of lacking life-threatening battles, I was comfortable with my natural destiny, but I practiced training to erase feelings of inferiority so as not to be looked down on. The days were overwhelming as I chased after the strong enemies I fought with at times and the friends who were always far ahead. Cirrus realized that everything inside her body was writhing, as if it were about to explode. The trigger of death and fear is bursting the dam of Cirrus's accumulated experience. Just die! Villigul's flames and Seekon's sword attacked Cirrus again. The flames were offset by cold, but the sword pierced his left shoulder. Soon as Shirkan was about to turn his sword and explode the demonic energy around the blade, Cirrus screamed and struck Manbing. Suddenly, Seekon's arm, which had stabbed Cirrus in the shoulder, was cut off, widening the distance between the two. Cirrus pulled out Shirkan's arm and sword, which remained pierced through the shoulder, and froze them in ice. Ha 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 ha! After stepping on Seekon's frozen arm and breaking it, Cirrus also froze his own shoulder to prevent the magic energy from spreading. Now you only have one chance. Even if he loses his sword and arms, it doesn't mean that Shirkan loses his fighting power to the point where he can't fight. Even the flames in Villigul were getting stronger. Manbingum Type 3 Avalanche. As Cirrus unfolded the herbivore, the cold air scattered from the flames gathered into the ice. The huge ice crystals that poured down from the full ice cap created a continuous deafening noise that made the generals take a break for a moment. Is it finally the last struggle? This is right after the fatal wound that finally penetrated the shoulder. In the meantime, deploying such great technology could only be a last resort. Although it was threatening, all I had to do was avoid the explosion and wait a few seconds for the energy to subside. If we enter later, Cirrus will not have the strength to fight. Now there was only one thing left for the generals to worry about. If Ziccolo was finished before that and Luna joined here, there would be no answer. So the moment I briefly checked the battlefield behind me. Ah! Ziccolo! The generals had to swallow a sigh of relief as they noticed the red aura that was coloring the entire sky. The endlessly spreading red sword meant the death of Ziccolo. They encountered the red sword only through the video distributed by Sakiel and the memories of the dead demons. Although they had heard explanations about the danger several times, the red energy they saw in person was far beyond their imagination. Just looking at it is an overwhelming feeling, as if my whole body is being torn apart. Except for Jito-sama in the true demon world. Is there a demon that can handle that? The moment they thought that far, they were shocked to see Luna walking toward them with great strides. She didn't even seem that tired. No way already. However, as soon as Luna saw the panicked generals, she waved her hand as if she had nothing to be afraid of. I don't want to get involved, so just keep doing what you're doing. What? Go and kill Lord Xiaogong. If you make me explain one more time, I'll just storm in and kill you both. I promise on Runkendal's honor. What is your intention? The generals couldn't understand, but they had no other choice. If you run away anyway, you will be immediately caught by Luna and killed. Eventually the generals turned to Cirrus again. This was after seeing Luna sitting down, taking out something like a snack and eating it. Try your best. The momentum of the avalanche was quickly waning. As the cold slowly cleared away, Cirrus was trembling and coughing up blood. If Luna really kept her promise, the time had come to finally end that persistent life. Without hesitation, the generals amplified their magic energy as much as possible and began charging towards Cirrus. Slitting her throat with only a handful of aura and cold left would have been easier than stomping on a bug and exploding it. Wait a minute, there are no auras or cold left? It was Villigul who first sensed that something was strange. No matter how tired I was, I thought it was normal to feel just a little bit of aura and cold. Shirkan also felt the same sense of discomfort as he left a distance of about 10 steps from Cirrus. It was already too late. Manbing geometry OUI white. As if Cirrus fell, he leaned forward and slammed Manbing to the floor. She used the avalanche as a trick to pull this off. In the meantime, all the remaining aura and cold energy were concentrated to unfold O's bag. Compared to what Talaris staged in the past Sword Emperor Crusade, Cyrus O's 100 was much smaller in scale. It was bound to happen because it was spread with so little energy left, but it was enough to spread the same power as before within 10 steps. Kududuk. An absurdly sharp and hard ice flame rose up between Cyrus and the generals. The scattered ice flames seemed to penetrate and tear the bodies of the generals in an instant. Vilagul and Seekin had to be buried in O's white ice without even being able to scream. However, Cyrus did not personally see the scene where they were crushed and met their end. This was because he had already fallen unconscious. After Luna confirmed that the fight was over, she swallowed the Litra cookie she was holding in one bite. Then he approached the fallen Cyrus and said this. Ruler, now go back, get healed, and let's go to the next battlefield, Sagungju. We don't have time to rest. We don't have time to rest. True Demon World Dakwangxing. Vice Scalo Kukin Ten Sicker Haida Missile Huan Tilias Viceps Dilus Clopino Layla Belgasium. 7 demon kings visited Regal's poisonous castle. Dakma Fortress was Dakwangxing until a few days ago, but as soon as Regal received the title Ma from Jito, the first thing he did was change the name of the castle. Haha! With everyone giving me a seat like this, I really feel like I have become a king. I feel sad that there are some friends who couldn't come or didn't come. Regal smiled as he looked at the kings sitting at the banquet hall. You stayed on as a general for too long compared to your abilities. Ah, Kukin. Thank you for saying that. Tisk. Furthermore, Mr. Jito is even given a second name with the same status as Mr. Pialito. I'm going crazy with envy. So true to its name, I came here after half-killing a guy named Alona Ziffel, one of the strongest royalties, Sicker. Missile. Ah, this missile guy still can't speak. Okay. That's all I need to understand, right? Missile. Congratulations, Regal. Our poor Tilia's biceps. You're a king just like us, so don't be so judgmental. Jito, it's that damn Bassett who's aiming for the back of your head. Not you, right? Tilia's biceps was a demon king from the Biceps clan, the only force currently resisting Jito in the true demon world. Nevertheless, he was recognized by Jito for his loyalty and ability and became the demon king. But most demons did not view him kindly. I just want to thank you for your consideration. You should be more grateful to Dilus, who sits next to you, than to me, because Dilus is chasing that crazy guy every day with his eyes wide open. Hey, Dilus, have you restored the castle that Bassett attacked and destroyed last time? It's none of your business. Regal smiled despite Dilus' stiff attitude. Okay? I asked him because I was worried about him, but he was acting harsh. If you're jealous that I've become a poisonous horse, why don't you say you're jealous? As honest as Sicer. Dilus shook his head as if it wasn't worth answering. Still, Regal felt good because he had become a poisonous horse. Regal fun. What is this? But no matter how good I felt, I couldn't get over Layla's overbearing tone. She is the younger sister of Pialito, whom Regal was always so jealous of. Oh, this wasn't an invitation. Why? What's the problem? The spirits of this banquet hall. Didn't you hear the sword demon's command? He must have told us to stop producing spirit liquor for the time being. Well, originally such regulatory orders only need to be followed faithfully. Do you think it makes sense that demon lords like us can't drink as much as we want because of that one word? Layla. Even those who were already kings 1,000 years ago are following the sword demon's orders. After becoming king and receiving the title Mara, they are becoming more and more crazy. I said let's listen and listen, so this is it. Srung. Layla's rapier instantly touched Regal's uvula. If I disobey orders and insult the sword master one more time, my sword will no longer stop like it did now. Know and live by Regal. Fun topic. You probably know that I am not as merciful as the sword demon. Ah, why are you doing this? Good place. Yes, Regal made a small mistake, so let's not be too harsh, Layla. Since we came to congratulate you, I guess we just drank a little spirit wine. Regal. Missile. As Weiss, Kukin, Sicker, and Missile came forward, Regal lowered his frown and shrugged his shoulders. Soon, Regal clapped his hands, and the servants busily brought food to the banquet hall. Dilus and Layla. Aside from those two people, the meal went on in a friendly atmosphere. However, except for Regal, the other demon lords watched the two men. At the end of the meal, Regal's subordinate hurriedly visited the banquet hall. He was holding a crystal ball containing the video that Sakiel had just sent. "Mr. Regal, I have just received a video from the General Secretary." "Video? What is it?" "They say it's the battle of Demon King Zicalo." "Zicalo? That guy must have gone to take over the land garrison. Could it be that Ince hit Zicalo first?" "It seems like that. It seems like the atmosphere at the General Secretary's office is not good." "Okay. Leave the crystal ball behind. The atmosphere is not good. Could it be that Zicalo lost to someone?" "No way it's that Zicalo. Even if I lost, my life would have been saved." Regal played the video. Naturally, the video showed Zicalo being brutally crushed by Luna. The Demon Kings could not take their eyes off the video without saying a single word. "If it's not there, I guess I'll have to end it now. But don't be too discouraged because I die. You were strong enough, Zicalo." As soon as those words were finished, most of the demon lords opened their mouths without realizing it as the red sword endlessly colored the sky. Even after finishing off Zicalo, Luna doesn't seem to be tired at all. What is this?" "Hey, Layla. Didn't Paelito say a while ago that Moby Dick's red energy has limitations? That person seems to have no problem using as much red power as me." "Me missile. You destroyed Zicalo so easily?" "It's not Soren Runkendal or Elona Ziffel. I heard that Luna Runkendal is definitely weaker than them. Although not as good as Luna, the battle between Cirrus and the generals was shocking enough." "That's full ice. Could it be that even full ice had the power to destroy a general-level demon like that red energy?" "Damn sure can. How dare he kill my blood relatives?" Kukin was furious as he watched Cirrus finish off the generals. Seekin, who died along with Vilagul, was one of Tenga's core forces. With the loss of both Zicalo and Vilagul, Remurga in the Salt Zone is finished. When the video ended, Layla looked back at the Demon Lords. She and Dylas had already checked the video before coming to Dakma Castle. This is what Demon Kings and Generals should do. "Layla, what do you mean?" "Before Jito steps forward as Ince, or before Ince invades the Jinma realm, the Demon King and the Generals must exhaust all of Luna Runkendal's red energy." The Demon King's eyes widened. "You want me to get rid of that? Is this an order from Paelito?" "No, Mr. Paelito, you are doing too much. Zicalo was also hooked like that, so what are we supposed to do with it? Isn't it right for Paelito to come forward himself? I wonder if the Sword Demon could have said that even if he were here, Weiss." "Ugh. That's it. Besides, this is Jito's order, not Paelito's." Layla split the air with her hand. A small subspace opened in the air, and Layla took out the black lumps contained within it. "You know, this is Jito-sama's body. I'll give you one each so you can use them when dealing with Luna Runkendal. Of course, even if you have Jito-sama's body, you must absolutely avoid one-on-one contact. At least 2 or 3 people must act together." "Oh well, there is no need to fight like a gentleman. Since Zicalo fought one-on-one, I was naturally mistaken. It would be worth it if several Demon Kings with Jito-sama's body fought at the same time. But they also have the ability to jump through space. Reinforcements could come at any time. That's why Jito keeps creating cracks to prevent humans from doing that. Fortunately, among the abilities we have, there are some that can control spatial jumps." Missile. While the Demon Kings were talking, Regal quietly rolled his head. "What?" Jito went directly to the Sword Demon Castle and warned Paelito because Sakiel had used a piece of flesh not long ago. But suddenly, they are giving away their flesh to the Demon Lords. Of course, at the time, Zito added that it was okay as long as it was a pleasant loss. But Regal remembered the moment when Zito was irritated the whole way back. "I don't know Jito's intentions. Jito lost some of his strength because of Ayula, so he felt sensitive to losing flesh. Or could it be that they are pieces of flesh that Paelito took away when he opposed Zito in the past? So it could be that he was planning to use the Demon Lords as arrow holders without Jito's knowledge and then steal the credit. Not sure either way." Rhaegal concluded that it would be better not to provoke Layla further and to confirm the facts with Zito later. If it's Jito's order, of course, I have to follow it. Layla. From the looks of it, you have already met Jito alone, so which of us can go first? Not you, Rhaegal. I guess so. This body needs some time to rest because it has been through Elona Zippel. Anyway, our Jito is this delicate sometimes. I will go first. I have to avenge Seekin. If possible, I would like to go too, Layla. It was Tilya's. Naturally, he was a person who needed to continue to improve his skills to gain the trust of other demons. Layla nodded. Cookin, 10 vice scalo, Tilya's Viceps, Missile Highwin. You forego at once. The sword demon will create a way for you to leave within a few days. Oh, if the 4 of us compete at the same time with Jito-sama's body, we can not only get rid of the red energy, but we can also kill Luna Runkindle. If that happens, the 4 of you might also receive a new title from Jito, just like Rhaegal. But don't let your guard down just because there are 4 of you, for none of you are stronger than Ziccolo when he has no flesh left. Oh, I guess Missile is similar. Missile Saul. The Demon Kings did not show any signs of displeasure when they were evaluated as being weaker than Ziccolo. This was because it was true that although the hierarchy among Demon Kings was the same, there was a large gap in actual skills. In particular, it was doubtful whether Layla would be able to win even if all the Demon Kings gathered here attacked her. But Layla, why aren't you going? Dylas, even if you're busy with Bassett, wouldn't it be better for you to go alone rather than sending these 4 friends up? The sword demon can't make a way for me to get out yet. I also have other things to do. Is that also an order given by Jito? Yes. Can't you tell me what it is? Layla stood up, ignoring Rhaegal. I'm going back now. Remember, the Demon King and the generals must eliminate Luna Runkindle's red power. The dinner ended 2 hours after Layla left. When all the Demon Kings returned, Rhaegal called his lieutenant. You said there were those in the Jarrow spirit camp, right? Yes, Rhaegal. This morning we smuggled it into our extreme poison zone and hid it well. Would you like to meet me right now? Okay. I guess I'll have to adjust it once before using it. Tisk stupid Layla bitch. You don't think I'm drinking soul wine for nothing, right? OMG. Jump up. Cirrus stood up and reflexively summoned Manbing. Oh, what a surprise. Hey, Ice Princess. I was so sick that I was going to die, but the hospital room suddenly got cold. You're awake, Cirrus. Cirrus was momentarily mesmerized by the voices of Murakan and Gilly that came out of nowhere and looked around. I saw the unfamiliar sight of the Tychon Palace special hospital room. That time I killed them with Ozbag and passed out. Is your body feeling better? The wound was quite deep. The wound that penetrated his shoulder was completely healed, leaving no scars. The same was true for all kinds of fractures, cuts, and bruises. Oh, you're awake. This is Sagungju Kangol. I can't believe I overcame such injuries in just 4 days. It was Luna. 4 days. Have I been down for 4 days? Don't worry, there haven't been any major problems with the Royal Palace or the Alliance in the meantime. King Song said so. No matter how much he treated himself, he said it was the first time since our youngest that he recovered so quickly. You've never been hurt like this before, right? Because he didn't have one, he probably didn't know how strong he was. After all, you are the same type as me. You're saying that again. He killed a man who was incomparable to the generals I had faced. Haha, that's right, I'm a little stronger? Oh, isn't this comforting? Are you sure? But now if you fight those generals again, you will be able to win much more easily, right? This will be comforting. Growth through life or death battles. Cirrus did not deny Luna's words. The sharp sensation from the moment I opened Ozbag was still stimulating my inner self, and my newly awakened body felt lighter and stronger than ever. Soon Cirrus shook his head to come to his senses and recognized the scent of the battlefield emanating from Luna. Did the first rider fight again while I was down? Yeah, I couldn't rest. The creation of cracks is now going crazy fast. Demon King level demons keep popping up from the sea garrison and putting pressure on the land, and because of that Gene continues to enter the battlefield. The Jinma world's invasion was becoming more and more intense day by day. If you have not completed the golden ship before then, if you have not been able to build a sea defense wall using the golden ship, Jupiter's 30% had already turned into hell. It is impossible to protect the entire continent with only the power of superhumans and troops. Currently, large-scale battles were constantly taking place at sea between the barriers built by the Bamul Alliance and the demons. The Bamul Alliance was never defeated with golden ships, but the biggest problem was that the Jinma realm's forces were increasing day by day rather than decreasing. Jin still maintained the position that preemptive strike was the most important. Pests keep crawling out until they eventually find their source and get rid of them. And since we couldn't get on the moat until today, our preemptive strike mission was pretty much at a standstill. There were a lot of situations where Jin had to move around, so I couldn't ride the Red Owl every time. You know what I mean, right? Get ready. Already another garrison has been established in Kikaro, which we destroyed. There's another thing in Kikaro? It seems like many demon lords like Zicalo were also summoned. If Prince Xiao had stayed down for 2 more hours, I would have gone alone. I wouldn't have been lonely. Latrie here prepared a special sandwich for you, so eat it quickly. We'll leave as soon as we finish eating. All right. Okay. Both Luna and the Ice Princess eat quickly and go. Mr. Muraken, I still need some strawberry pie and some rest. Don't call me Ice Princess. I'm Sad Muraken. Why don't you give me a nickname? Are you disappointed? From now on I will call you Tundon. Tunton, I'm not really playing, so please talk to the little guy nicely. After I recover, I will go straight to the battlefield. My youngest is always lounging around. I miss Muraken, but I'm actually worried a lot. As you know. I don't know. It seems like he doesn't like the idea of me dating Strawberry Pie. Any child usually wants to avoid seeing their parents' affectionate behavior as much as possible. By the way, Gilly, are you and Muraken officially in a relationship now? This is my first time hearing this rider one. Ta Strawberry Pie? Cirrus finished the sandwich in no time. Obviously, if I go to the battlefield with Luna now, I will have to risk my life again. It was scary but not unpleasant. Let's go, Rider 1. Bow! When the white dimensional door opened, Mort began running through the otherworldly snow field. Still hate unmanned deliveries? Dr. Quall will have to quickly complete the mass production version of the Red Owl. No, it's not just delivery. Well, even if I only deliver, if that's my role, I should be faithful to it. Not only has your skills grown, but your inner self has also grown. Anyway, are you okay? What? That red energy. I heard there was a limit to the number of times. I think you've been using it nonstop almost every day since the start of the war. Oh, that's right. I'm not sure. Yes. My father told me to refrain from using it as much as possible until I was able to create a voice, but in fact it felt a bit burdensome if I used it continuously until the Scalo battle. But this time when I killed that guy with the Zykel, I used a lot of red sword energy, but instead of feeling tired, I just felt refreshed. Refreshing? Yes, I should say that it felt like impurities were leaving my body. Isn't this a more dangerous situation? I keep wondering if that might be the case for me too. But no matter how much I think about it, I don't feel like it's dangerous. My father must have felt this way when he overcame his demonic nature. Of course, if I feel like it's putting a strain on my body again, I'll refrain from using it as much as possible. If that happens, the Sagungju will have to play a bigger role. This time I saw that even Manbing had the power to erase demons like my red sword energy. Boo! Mort came out of the otherworldly snowfield. In an instant they arrived at the kingdom of Kikaro. There was no trace of the battle Luna and Cirrus fought here 4 days ago. A new fortress was summoned to the ruined garrison, and much stronger magic energy was encroaching on the entire plain. It seems like there are almost no useless low-level troops like back then. And this time it seems like it's all demon lords without the generals mixed in. Luna smiled and made eye contact with Cirrus. It's just good experience. Great posture. However, if the troops were removed, the fortress should have been removed as well. Are there any resources left for these? Chuck, Luna said as she lifted Krantle. This time the plan was to start by destroying the fortress as a decisive battle. But this time the demon lords appeared outside the castle first. You are trying to start ignorantly again. Hey Luna Runkendel. It would be best not to destroy Missel's castle. Even though our Missel is not good at speaking, she can never tolerate her castle being destroyed. 3 demon kings, excluding Missel, were coming out of the castle gate. Luna glanced at them and shrugged. Okay? Why did you take something so precious as royalties? Oh, is that so that we can be together when we die? Or are you the type of person who only gets angry when something precious is broken, so that they can show off their skills? Let's say it's the latter. I am Vice Scalo, the ruler of the deep sea area of the true demon realm. It's Tilia's. It's Cookin 10. I've come to avenge Shirkan, who was killed by the secret royal family. Shirkan? One of the generals who died 4 days ago. That's good. Lord Sogung. This time take charge of that guy named Cookin. It seems like he also wants the Sagungju. At first glance, Cookin was a powerhouse that could not even be compared to Villagul or Seekin. Cirrus nodded quietly. The more I look at Sagungju, the cuter she looks. But that guy is still too much for the small palace lord. Need to sort out the others first and save the small palace lord when he gains enlightenment and is on the verge of death. Of course, it is not impossible if Cirrus explodes with more potential than Luna expected, but Luna was sure that her enemies would have new tactics, unlike the time with Ziccolo. The purpose of the preemptive strike is to exhaust Zito's flesh. But Ziccolo did not use flesh. The Jima world guys won't be brainless either, so this time, the number of pages will increase, and they'll all have at least one piece of Jito's flesh. If Cookin were to use Jito's flesh while dealing with the Oxbow Lord would have no choice. Luna focused her energy on the axe sword Krantil again. Tongxiangmyong and partner designation are over. Except for Cookin, the other 3 should come at once. Ziccolo still had some dignity until the last moment, but I wonder what you guys are like. Of course, Luna expected that the Demon Kings would go into battle with their secret strategy hidden. But her expectations were wrong from the start. The Demon Kings all took out pieces of Jito's flesh from their bosom. Crunch dash. As the Demon Lords grabbed their flesh, Luna and Cirrus suddenly had to face the sight of their entire vision turning purple. Luna and Cirrus felt pressure that made their skin tingle just because the power of Jito contained in their flesh was absorbed by the Demon Lords. Did you really think we would let Cookin and Oxbow Lord fight separately? Because we are not people who value formality like the Ziccolo. There is a change in Sagungju's plan. Get on the Mott right now and leave the battlefield. I guess it would have been better for me to come alone this time. Cirrus immediately nodded without refutating or showing any sign of hurt pride like before. However, the dimension door to the otherworldly snowfield that could summon Mort did not open. Weiss smiled as she looked at Cirrus' embarrassed face. Don't even think about running away, you two will fall into the deepest abyss of hell today. The land where Luna and Cirrus were standing was already filled with black water. Weiss's deep-sea ability seemed to completely trap the 2 people underwater before even a few seconds had passed. The plane suddenly turned into a deep sea, but Luna and Cirrus were not trapped and unable to breathe. As soon as the water filled up, Luna spread a spherical protective shield with her aura to cover her body, and Cirrus also formed a similar protective shield with the power of the full ice. The portal to the otherworldly snowfield won't open, Rider 1. Interference with spatial movement. It looks like he has that kind of ability like Ilona Ziffel. Luna looked at her enemies with a calm gaze. The enemies strengthened by Zito's flesh were shaking with confidence. Unexpected situation. However, when Luna lived in the Black Sea, she always moved forward while navigating more serious and dangerous variables. Then I guess we have no choice but to fight. Well, dealing with variables is an important skill, so let's understand it as part of training. For now, Lord Sogong, please assist me and do your best to protect yourself. All right. TSK. This must be my first time fighting in the water. Show the majesty of the deep sea zone of the Jinma realm. Qua. The moment Weiss said that, the water that filled the plane suddenly split in half, and a huge red sword energy rose up. The sword seemed to evaporate most of the water formed by the vice in an instant. As if the clouds had descended, the water vapor that spread across the battlefield obscured the view for a moment. Everyone, be careful. It's red. As Weiss made a fuss and shouted, Luna shook her head inwardly. It's strong, but it feels like it lacks weight. Compared to Zicolo, they seem to be a bit lacking in strength and intelligence. Weiss squealed like a third-rate villain, and Kukin continued to pour out his sword energy indiscriminately, saying that he would avenge the dead Seekin. At least Tilias felt the weight of a demon lord, but he didn't seem to have the power to control his foolish colleagues. And in this group, there was a demon who definitely nailed down Luna's assessment that they were stupid, and that was Mistlehuen. Smile! As soon as the fortress was destroyed by Luna's sword, he stormed into the battlefield crying his name. He was 3 times larger than the other demon lords, and he also had a huge mace that perfectly suited his size. Tisk dash! Luna was shocked for a moment as she received his mace. It was as if Hito's mighty power was conveyed through the weapon. Missile, 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 missile. Haha! Didn't I tell you? Our missile may be a bit speechless, but she can never sit still and watch her castle fall. Missile! I don't think you're a little slurred. All of the demon lords had real strength and fighting ability. The evaporated water quickly filled up again, creating a whirlpool, and Cirrus was momentarily swayed by the force and lost his balance. Kukin's sword penetrated the gap and passed through Cirrus' hair. If my senses had been dulled from the battle with the generals, I would have been stabbed in the cheek instead of the head. The demon kings were not affected by Weiss water at all. The demon lords were bound to be in a much more advantageous position than the 2 who had to fight while constantly evaporating water. It would be really dangerous if we dragged it out for a long time. Not only the portal to the otherworldly snowfield, but also the communication system is not working. Luna was firing red sword energy without hesitation. He even added red sword energy not only when he opened his heart sword but also when he used decisive moves like meteor showers. Even during an expedition to the Black Sea, this much red sword energy had never been used. The more I used it, the lighter my body became and my senses awakened, but I also felt uneasy about not knowing the cause. The guy who handles Weiss water is the most annoying. I have to somehow deal with him first so I can free up some time, and I need to find out who is blocking the communicator and space jump and kill them. Anyway, as long as I win, I guess I'll be dealing with all 4 pieces of Jito's flesh at once. Missile was the one facing Luna head-on. The remaining demon lords were circling around like snakes, looking for an opening. And it wasn't just weapons that flew in whenever an opening appeared. High-ranking demons in the magic world were basically magic swordsmen who could use both weapons and magic at a superhuman level. Among them, most of the magic used by demon lords today is a curse from the dark world. Even if a weapon flew at an angle that was difficult to avoid, it would be enough to just parry it, but the curse would engulf the entire body in an instant as soon as even a sword touched it. This is especially difficult because Luna does not have the curse immunity characteristic like Jean. Although the contents of the curse were unknown, whatever it was, it had to be avoided as it was a curse strengthened by Jito's power. Luna is even in a position to protect Cirrus. It is best for the Sagangju to seize the opportunity to counterattack first. Then based on that I can break through to Weiss. Can Sagangju do it? I didn't ask Cirrus directly. It seemed like Cirrus didn't even have time to have a conversation right now. Cirrus was sweating as she fought off all the curses and attacks from Kukin that were coming through Luna's protection. Fortunately, Luna soon realized that her worries were unfounded. As soon as the worries were over, Cirrus created an opportunity and seized it. Manbingium Ozbag. From the moment the fight began, Cirrus realized faster than Luna that the key to this battle was himself. He recognized from the beginning that Luna could only move freely if he started a counterattack. That's why Cirrus continued to prepare the 5 swords of Manbingium. Since there was no answer through general attack and defense, it was decided that a great technique that could make the demon lords hesitate even for a moment was needed. Futsuzuzu, that is dash. Suddenly, a blanket of ice was rising in the middle of the battlefield. Kukin, who had been running the whole time, escaped the ice for a moment. Ice flower devastated the entire depths of the true demon world that Weiss had spread. Yet it did not threaten Luna at all. Go, Rider 1. Very good, Sagangju. The bag that was unfolded this time was much larger than when it was used to kill the generals, and its sharpness was also deeper. Like back then, the enemies could not be silenced all at once. Instead of confronting Binghua head-on, the Demon Kings skillfully evaded it and waited for the white to sink. Although Missile continued to shout her name and showed her incredible strength by breaking the ice. Missile! Smile! Hey, Missile! What if I break it? I have to avoid it! That idiot! Weiss and Kukin screamed in astonishment at Missile's incredible judgment. They knew that Missile was dull, but they never thought that she would fall for such an obvious trick. Luna passed by Missile, who was preoccupied with the ice, and swung the red-hot Krantle towards Weiss. Kayak! Weiss reacted in time and struck down Krantle but felt the pain of her entire body being torn apart by the red energy flowing through the sword. Is this why Paolito was so wary of this power? Just the collision of these damned weapons makes me go crazy. Has that fool Missile been enduring this whole time? Electrical energy. There would never be another opportunity like this again, because there is no way that Cirrus will be able to hit O's 100 in succession. That's why Luna was literally putting all her power into pressuring Weiss. Decisive battles and secret moves such as Hachen and Lightning Meteor Shower's speed of light stabbing continued non-stop as if they were ordinary strikes. Of course, they all contained red sword energy, and there was a part of Jito's flesh that actually acted as poison in this situation. Jito's energy was reacting to Luna's red power, increasing Weiss' pain. There is no change whatsoever in strengthening through flesh except that the pain is amplified. However, Weiss did not have a strong tolerance for fighting while enduring pain. I'm going crazy. Missile needs to hold his own and help me. Kukin's eyes are still on the Oxbow Lord. Then at least Tilia's. Tilia's. Weiss managed to shout his name. Tilia's had escaped the ice and crossed over to the other side of Weiss. But Weiss suddenly felt a sense of discomfort. But why didn't this bastard Tilia's join us until I called him? He could have easily avoided the ice fire of the Sagungju and come to cover me? Tilia's moved quite slowly in response to Weiss's call, as if he had no intention of saving Weiss. While being pushed around, Weiss has a lot to think about, and there wasn't a single person in INS who had different thoughts and could deal with Luna. If Jean and even Chiron had to deal with Luna, they would only focus on her. In other words, it was as if Weiss was craning her head against Luna. Die! Luna blinked and focused the red sword energy spread everywhere on Krantle. Heart Sword Red Moonvice was unable to respond properly as his body had already had holes in it due to the previous decisive battles and secret techniques. Naturally, Luna's full-power blows were thousands of times faster than the speed at which his body recovered. In the end, Krantle swung at incredible speed, cut the vice in half and destroyed the fortress spread out behind him without a trace. It was the moment when the ruler of the Deep Sea Zone passed away following the ruler of the Jinma World Salt Zone. As soon as Weiss died, the water covering the battlefield appeared to disappear without a trace. Well, I caught one guy, but the red energy is swirling inside my body as if it is about to run away. This has never happened before, so could this be a sign that the number of times my father has spoken is running out? However, I don't feel as tired as before. Anyway, it was not a situation where I could fight while conserving my red energy. Even though Weiss was dead, the other three were still alive and well. In particular, Missile showed no signs of being tired even though she was taking on Luna, who was covered in red energy head-on and even destroying the ice flower. First of all, we need to protect the Sagungju again. Now that O's bag has been maximized, he won't have the strength to properly block Kukin's attack. The ice cap was withering. The demon lords were pressuring Cirrus, and Luna took a moment to consider which side would be best to break through. Just as she was about to choose a side, Luna had to widen her eyes in surprise. Deep. Tilia's sword was piercing Kukin's back. You son of a bitch. Kukin trembled. Tilia's grabbed Kukin by the neck from behind and swung the sword once through his back. Ha ha! Kukin screamed in pain and exploded with magical energy. Thanks to this, Tilia's was able to avoid the demonic energy and retrieve the sword, but his wounds did not seem to recover immediately. The land originally ruled by Tilia's family, the Biceps family, is the immortal zone of the true demon world. The demons from the immortal zone had the power to suppress the abilities of their opponents. Except for Basset, Tilia's is the one with the strongest power. Kukin continued to vomit blood and widen the distance. What is this situation all of a sudden? Could it be that that demon named Tilias is a traitor to the true demon world? Whatever it is, I can take a breather. It was a car where I wanted to recover even for a moment from the feeling that the red energy was about to explode. Missile, who had been destroying Binghua the whole time, stopped moving and looked at the demons blankly with a distraught expression on her face. I couldn't believe it. But you damned starred. Did you betray Jito? Like your trashy brother. Tilias smiled coldly. Betrayal? I have never worshipped Zito, so how can this be a betrayal? You guys have just been fooled this whole time. TSK. Yes, I was properly fooled. I've kept this power hidden for so long. I can't believe I even blocked the power that comes from Jito-sama's true energy. We could have killed Zito. If only Paolito hadn't turned around. Even if Paolito had continued to help you guys, the result would have been the same. Ark, when everyone pointed at you and said you were a traitor, I never once ignored you. Like Jito, I have always thought highly of you. But how could this be? Me, Missile. Yes. There were some demons like you. Those who accepted me without discrimination or prejudice. But you and those guys killed and tortured Viceps members in front of me without any hesitation. And he played with Zito and followed his terrible ideology. You crazy bastard. It was you, Tilias, who took the lead in attacking the Viceps family. What kind of bullshit are you talking about? To those guys, there's a guy called Biceps Nightmare. Missile. As Kukin said, Tilias most severely oppressed the few remaining anti-territorial forces. That's why Biceps survived despite his origins and was able to rise to the level of Demon King. That's because Tilias decided to take on that role in the Viceps family. Tilias looked at Kukin with dark eyes. When I had to torture and kill my colleagues pretending to be on Zito's side, how did I feel when I had to watch with joy as Zito and you killed my colleagues? You guys will never know. Both in life and in death. It was a story that Kukin could not accept. Tilias had been deceiving the demons of the true demon world like that until now. While the conversation continued, Cirrus passed by the entranced Missile and came to Luna's side. It seems like there is an internal division among the first riders. I know. I'm not a mid to low-level demon, and there's a spy like that among the demon lords. Today's harvest may be more beneficial than expected. Tilias is probably a key member of the anti-territorial force that Orgel mentioned to Jean before. And looking at the way things are going now, it looks like the anti-territorial forces want to join hands with us. You want to join hands with us? How do you know? The first rider sometimes doesn't know much about the world. If Tilias didn't want to associate with us, why would he show his true colors in front of us? Oh, is that so? Weiss disappeared, and Tilias revealed his true colors. Kukin had to face the fact that his chances of returning alive were extremely slim. Mokyung is alive and well, but Weiss is broken, and I'm seriously injured. The only one I can trust is Missile. But does this idiot have hidden powers like Tilias? It's true that she was the strongest among us when she got angry, but even if Missile had the power, she would have to be at least as strong as Layla to get an answer. Sigh! Heavy and sharp purple magic energy was gathering around the sword of Tilias. Kukin ran towards Missile. Missile, do you still have Jito's flesh? Missile was the only one among the 4 demon kings who did not use flesh. Luna didn't notice that because the battle was so urgent. Missile, give it to me. Only when I recover can we have at least some way to live. Because of Tilia's power, blocking support and space leaps are impossible. Give it to me quickly. Missile saw. Missile put her hand into her bosom. Kukin was momentarily upset by his slow movements, but fortunately, Tilias was also moving slowly. Tilias must be conscious of Missile and move carefully. Baekhyun is puzzled by this situation, so he stays still for now. If Mobikyung stays still for a few more seconds, I can use enough of his flesh. The moment I thought about it, Kukin suffered the humiliation of being thrown to the ground, feeling pain as if his head was exploding. Something with tremendous force hit Kukin's head. It was a fist that Missile put into her bosom, pretending to take out a piece of flesh. Cook! Quang dash. Missil's fist struck Kukin's head once more as he fell. Kukin barely raised his head and looked up at Missil with his head half crushed. I hate people like you so much. You are just a plaything of the earth without intelligence or will. It doesn't qualify as a higher life form. Missil, who only said her own name, was conveying her thoughts with extremely fast and accurate pronunciation. This was another scene where Luna and Cirrus could not help but be surprised. Wow! That guy who was Missil too? Your acting skills are not average. Like Tilia's, Missil has been deceiving other demons all this time. Missil Highwind was also a key executive at Biceps. Me Missil. What is this? It's really stupid to ask that in this situation. It's not me who's the fool, it's you guys. How can we follow a world ruled by pain? You are terrible creatures. Jito and you must disappear from this world. Kukin's last hope has disappeared. Before he knew it, Tilias was looking down at Kukin and pointing his purple-stained sword at him. You will be treated as if you died fighting fiercely, Kukin 10. Let's say this is a reward for trusting me and treating me as an equal. Well, no matter how you died, Zito will only be angry at the fact that you lost a piece of flesh. Save me. Sigh. Tilia's sword pierced Kukin's heart. Kukin gasped for a moment and then died, and the remaining true energy of Kukin was absorbed into Tilia's through the blade. Thank you for your hard work, Tilia. With this, you have repaid your colleagues' enemies a little. It would have been better if we had been able to catch people like Dylas or Layla today instead of this guy. Tilias took out a cigarette from his pocket and took a bite. It will happen soon. Luna and Cirrus approached the two people. Luna was still holding Krantil, but Tilia and Mysol had put away their weapons. I need to give you a more detailed explanation. If you want to talk, put away your weapons first. Aren't humans that polite? It's okay, Missil. It's a natural reaction because humans probably can't trust us yet. It's a completely unexpected development from our perspective. Could this all be a show by some guy named Zito? Show? Be careful what you say. We have made tens of billions of sacrifices over 10,000 years to gain freedom. Have you ever seen a show like this? It's hard for people in Missil to understand that too. We are in a position to ask for help, so let's not be too pushy. But humans also need our help. They will never be able to kill Earth without our help. Luna Runkendal, let me formally introduce the two of us again. I am Tilia's Biceps, a member of the Bishop's family, the rulers of the immortal zone of the true demon world, and an executive of the Bishops, the only semi-terrestrial force currently remaining in the true demon world. The fast-talking friend here is also an executive at Biceps, as is Missil Highwind. So this means that the names of your family and the semi-territory faction are both Biceps? Yes. Please introduce yourself formally too. Please be polite. We are intellectuals. Besides, we may become allies in the future. Okay. This is Luna Runkendal, the first rider of Runkendal. Nice to meet you. Cirrus Endorma, the Lord of the Secret Palace. As you can see, we are deceiving Jito and Jinma World by pretending to be not Biceps. You just asked if it was Zito's show, but honestly, since we even killed Kukin in front of your eyes, I don't know how to further prove our point here. You already know that if we had used our best skills, we wouldn't have been able to kill Weiss so easily. Luna shrugged her shoulders. Yeah, it doesn't seem like a lie. If you two had unleashed all your hidden powers, it would probably have been difficult for our Sagungju to survive. You want to form an alliance with us? That's right. As Missil said, you can never finish off Jito without our help. Royalties will definitely be destroyed. It's uncomfortable to hear such a threatening request for an alliance. I still don't know on what basis they say that. Can you communicate with your leader, Jean Runkendal? I will tell you as much detail as possible. It's not difficult. But who is your leader? Bassett Biceps is my older brother. If you really want to have a direct conversation with the head of Sagaju, you must bring someone worthy of him. Besides, the communicator is not working right now. You made this like that, right? As soon as Luna answered, the communicator began to resonate. After the battle began, Luna had not yet contacted us once. So communication requests continued to come in from the Situation Room. It was the result of Tilia's exercising his power. We also need to go through a lot of steps to get in touch with our brother, because he is the devil under Jito. Instead, since we've revealed our true feelings first, it would be nice if you could give us a little convenience. This is an issue that depends on the lives of billions of people in the Jinma world and the lives of all royalties. Luna made eye contact with Tilia for a few seconds. Something was desperately trembling in his dark eyes. Soon, Luna activated the communicator. This is the first rider. We are safe. There is a demon king who has requested to speak to Sagaju. So bring Sagaju immediately. Taiken. Jean had just returned to Taiken after defeating 3 generals in the crack area that opened in the Empire. There is someone among the demon lords who has requested to speak to me. What? They are Tilia's biceps and Missile Huin. They say they are only pretending to be Zito's subordinates and are key executives of the anti-Zito forces. What about you and Cirrus? You are both safe. I heard that those 2 demon kings killed other demon kings during the battle. Jin's eyes took on a different color. According to Orgel, the person who was at the core of the anti-Zito forces was Paolito and he defected. Are there any other forces left? If true, this is quite good news. Jean headed straight to the Situation Room without even shaking off the ashes and blood from the battlefield. Sister Cirrus, are you okay? Although he had already heard from Jet, Jean first asked how the 2 were doing. Yes, it's okay, Sagaju. I spoke to them first and they seemed like pretty good friends. Let's talk carefully. Both are next to each other. I will keep this in mind, sister. This is Jean Runkendal. They said they found me. This is Tilia's biceps. This is Missile Highwin. Nice to meet you, Jinrankandal. Yeah, nice to meet you too. It seems that there are still sane demons left in the true demon world. On the way, I was briefed on the situation. What do you want to talk about with me? Anti-Zito Coalition Biceps, we want to form a formal alliance with the Bamul Coalition on the ground. It's so catchy. What exactly are you doing? What is the scale of it? Why do you want to form an alliance with us among the royal forces, and what benefits can you give us, etc.? I think there is a lot that needs to be revealed first. That's right, Jinrankandal Tilias. First of all, what we do is literally resist Zito. Actually, we almost succeeded about 3,000 years ago. Paolito left us and ultimately failed. 3,000 years ago? How old are you? It's over 10,000 years old. However, we demons have a forgetfulness cycle, so we do not fully enjoy our 10,000 lives. Forgetting cycle? As time passes, you lose some of your memories, recover some of them, and repeat this. Normally, it is common to all demons excluding immortals once every 1,000 years. That's why bonds are important to demons. Because we need to let each other know the memories we have forgotten. Bury the things you want to forget forever. The forgetting cycle was a kind of natural phenomenon that existed only in the Jinma realm. And Biceps endured more than 10 cycles of oblivion over 10,000 years and was still fighting against Zito. I don't completely understand, but I know roughly what it feels like. But from now on it would be better for Tilias to do any explaining. I'm sorry, but you speak so fast it's hard to understand. Okay, I'll stay quiet. Missile. Iron is my habit when acting like a fool. Please pretend I didn't hear you just now. In any case, it means that you have been resisting Zito for a very long time. Then the scale must be considerable. It was like that in the heyday. But now, it's probably around 1 million. It's a huge army, isn't it? However, there are about 10,000 combatants among them, and most of them are below 6 stars. There are 11 people with Demon King level combat power. Of course, that number includes me and Missile. So what do the remaining 990,000 do? They are just ordinary people. Work, take care of family, live life. Most of our lives are an escape stained with fear. Ordinary people. I could feel a sense of mission in Tilia's voice as he said that. If everything I'm saying right now is true, the Biceps have been going through a similar struggle as us in the true demon realm. For a much longer time than we have. Of the approximately 10,000 combatants, the majority are below 6 stars. Of course, he could be called a great army, but compared to the demons he was dealing with on the wall and the high-ranking demons that kept escaping from the cracks, he was a new blood. However, since all 11 demon lords would have superhuman-level combat power, that alone was enough value to form an alliance. Among those demon lords there are even those who hold the highest rank within the Jito army, such as Tilias and Missile. What is the means to prove it? Not at the moment. This is because it is best to communicate via communication. Here, even if I use my power to block Sakiel's crystal sphere, there will be no suspicion. You'd think it was to prevent Baekhyun and Segungju's space leaps and communications during the battle. However, if you block Sakiel's view beyond Sekiro, you will inevitably arouse suspicion. As long as there was no special power blocking the power, like Tilias, Sakiel could look at the appearance of most demons anywhere with the crystal ball. Because of our status as spies, it will be difficult to prove anything to you in the future. We both have to be really careful if we want to contact Vicep's headquarters. To begin with, all of our hideouts are in the true demon realm, so you can't see them with your own eyes at the moment. The ability to block space jumps and communications adds one more attractive element to the alliance proposal. In any case, does this mean that I can only do credit transactions with you? Rather than trust, it would be better to say it is faithfulness. Whether you believe it or not, we really are showing all our cards. This means that we are risking our lives and the lives of our colleagues in this conversation. Are there any record wizards among you? What do you think will happen if he records today's conversation and delivers it to the Jinma Realm Marine Garrison? If this isn't Zito's plan, you will all die. More than that, he cannot die and becomes a plaything of pain forever. Like our captured family members. Family. More than half of our Viceps members have a blood relative, a lover, or someone precious to them who is being held hostage by Zito. Perhaps more than half there are people who have gone through a cycle of oblivion and have even forgotten the existence of their captured family members. The moment Tilias said that, his colleagues who were holding their breath next to him quietly waved their hands. Yuria tried to determine whether what Tilias and Missile said was true, but Asmil's power was not applied to the communication. It's faithfulness. Jean repeated those words for a few seconds and imagined Tilias and Missile on the other side of the communicator. A face that can be felt beyond a calm voice. Solid eyes that have gone through a long and brutal struggle. That's how it was portrayed. Luna felt the same way, so she probably expressed that they were like decent friends. Why did you choose us? Have you ever had any contact with Jeep or Kinjalo? There are two reasons. First, we judged that you were the group that had the slightest similarity to Biceps among the major royalties. Second, there was no time for Zippel and Kinzalo to make contact. Also, Sakiel is a sharp person. If Missile and I go on a campaign to the territory of each of the major royal powers and come back unharmed each time, they will definitely be suspicious. Then, when you were summoned to Kakaro today, you must have felt that you only had one chance. I did. I can't remember everything, but perhaps in over 10 cycles of forgetting Biceps has never made a gamble as severe as today. Now it's time to explain the benefits. What are the benefits to us if we form an alliance with you? You will obtain the means to kill Jito. What are the means? I can't tell you that yet. Did you forget what you said about God earlier? From our perspective, it is a minimum safety measure. What if you snitch on us? This isn't the end for just me and Missile. The only card that can kill Jito will also disappear. But I can't lie to you either. After the trust deepens, you should tell the truth, because then you might get angry and change your mind. You speak quite well. It makes the other person want to trust you. Of course, the means to kill Jito is the most important, but it is not the only thing. Since Missile and I are demon lords, we can give you important inside information whenever we get the chance. For example, recently the true demon world has been trying hard to completely exhaust Moby Dick's red power. Your red power? Yes, Jito seems to have decided that the red power is a threat to him. Maybe it was Paelito's decision, not Zito's. But it was conveyed to the demon kings as Zito's order. That's why the demon lords brought pieces of flesh today. If the red power is exhausted, what kind of problem will happen to you? Does the true demon realm know exactly what it is about? We are also looking into this information through key figures on Paelito's side. What is certain is that the Jinma realm wants Baek Kyung to lose his red power. That can't be good for you. Jean also had concerns about Luna's red power. although I concluded that it would be okay since Soren did not leave any other information about the dangers. That's something I never thought about. Me and Missil's dead Weiss and Kukin are the advanced team. In the future, Demon Kings and Generals will continue to fight to eliminate the red power of Moby Dick. Even if they find out that they are expendable, they cannot disobey Zito's orders. Is it because they are being held hostage like you Biceps? No, because they are brainwashed. Most of Zito's subordinates are now brainwashed by pain. The pain that can never be forgotten even when the cycle of forgetfulness comes. That is why even among high-ranking demons there are many whose intelligence or abilities are not up to par. Have you ever felt anything strange while dealing with someone? So it seems like the guys who came this time felt somewhat out of place. That's right, Baekhyun. The Ziccolo you dealt with before was someone whose brainwashing was relatively intact. Then if there is a way to break the brainwashing, wouldn't it be possible to destroy Zito's power base? I think it has something to do with what you said about being a means of killing Jito. Unfortunately, I made a mistake. We also searched for a solution for a long time. But even the witch said that Jito's brainwashing could not be removed. If a witch can't do it, no one in this world can do it. Unless the dead sun god is resurrected. Oh, let me tell you in advance, we are absolutely opposed to the resurrection of the sun god. I like that part too. Okay, then let me ask you one last question. What is it? The reason why Biceps chose us as an ally is because of Biceps' size and ideology. I can roughly understand the benefits we will gain. But what do you want from us? You are asking the obvious. Fight with us until Jito disappears from this world. It's too big a promise to make right now. But we will fight until we subdue. Back to Chikaro Plain. As soon as Tilias and Missil ended communication, they looked at Luna and opened their arms wide. Surely you don't want to give us a hug to celebrate becoming allies? Of course our Lord Soga does not fully recognize you as an ally yet. It can't be. From now on, come out and cut down Missil. If we return safely, Sakiel will be even more suspicious of us. Do we really have to do that? Just say he ran away after seeing the two guys die. Would you believe it? If a colleague said that, I would believe it. To Zito and Piloto Sakiel, we are not colleagues but subordinates. Plus, since I'm from Biceps, I don't have good eyesight. In many ways, it's good to come back as unscathed as possible. Luna showed signs of unwillingness. Although Jean has not completely accepted the alliance if the story of Tilias and Mysol is true. The two people were close to righteous people. Moreover, they were pitiful people as their families were taken hostage and they had to act as spies and sometimes kill their colleagues with their own hands. I couldn't feel comfortable cutting down those people. Yes, we are used to pain, so there is no need to be too uncomfortable. Please hurry, we don't have much time now. Ugh, how much do I have to hurt? Make it look like you were about to die. Haha, I can't help it. Sigh dash. Krantil fertilized the two for a while. Purple blood and flesh splattered. Sometimes Luna intentionally attacked with a little bit of red energy, but this was because she had to make it clear. Tilias and Missil did not scream even once as their entire bodies were torn and broken. This should be enough. Damn, I feel uncomfortable. It's perfect. If I had known you would be this uncomfortable, I would have hurt you during the battle earlier. So there is a rumor in the magic world that you are a devil without blood or tears. Because we have already annihilated several great generals and demon kings. He was a kinder person than I thought. Are there any rumors about our Oxbow Lord? It's not there yet, but a video of Monbing's power destroying the generals has spread among the demon lords. It's always better to be careful. Because full ice like red energy is subject to special management. The two hesitated for a while due to the non-healing wound and then took out the last remaining piece of Jito's flesh. I would say we used the flesh as a last resort to escape. When can we meet again? Probably not too far away. I will try to create a means for regular communication somewhere in the royalties. I guess I'll have to go back now. Go and good luck. See you again, Confession Princess Jiangxio. You probably have a lot of questions, but I'm sorry I can't explain everything. When Tilias broke the flesh, a purple portal suddenly opened. Luna and Cirrus shrugged their shoulders as they watched the two disappear into the portal. Let's go back to Taiken Sagungju. Boo! With Tilia's gone, the door to the otherworldly snowfield opens. Power-blocking enemies are the most difficult type. If you look at what the dead Kukin said, Tilia's said, he could even block the power coming from Jito's flesh. Anyway, starting with the enemy clan, I felt like only crazy people were showing up, but now guys that have the potential to become allies have appeared for the first time. As Mort ran through the otherworldly snowfield, the scenery of Taiken Palace appeared in an instant. Are you here, sister? So what do you think? It doesn't feel like a lie, although we will have to wait and see more in the future. They said they will soon establish a network of contacts for Viceps through royalties. If they continue to provide valid information like this time, I think it will be okay to trust them a little. I think so too. Anyway, I'm worried about the red energy. I was already going to say that. I had the feeling that red energy would explode in this battle. A runaway? Okay, but what can I say? I didn't feel tired at all. That was strange. Just in case, I think it would be a good idea to refrain from using red energy for the time being. I guess so. However, if we start saving the red energy after today, Tilia's and Missile may be in trouble. More than anything, I have more faith in my father's opinion than the demons. Unlike Tilia's, Missile Soren never talked about the side effects of red energy. I just told them to save it as much as possible. If the exhaustion of red energy was as dangerous as the demons said, wouldn't my father have properly warned me? It seemed like the red energy was going to explode this time, but there was no sense of danger at all. I've never dealt with red energy before, so it's hard to say. But maybe my father knew it was dangerous but didn't warn me on purpose. Although he has recently escaped demonization and regained his humanity, Soren was never a kind and affectionate father to begin with. Even though he knew that the red energy was dangerous, Jean thought that Luna might be able to overcome it on her own and move on to the next level. That could be true. If you're a father, that's enough. Wouldn't it be right to follow your father's will even more? In the end, the red energy is a corner that you must pass if you want to go further. That was also correct. Well, I will leave it entirely to your judgment regarding the use of red energy. But if you feel like it's not right, be sure to stop. Don't worry, youngest child. Sagungju and I need to rest for a day and prepare for the next battle. Sagungju's full ice also has a red energy-like ability, so you can look forward to it in the future. Jinma World Marine Garrison. Tilia's and Missile reported to Sakiel with no faces. So, all of Jito's true energy that Layla had provided was used, and Moby Dick used up a significant amount of his red energy. Is this all? That's right. In fact, I couldn't see the answer during the battle and wanted to leave at least a piece of flesh, but in order for me and Missile to escape. That's a good thing. I don't know about Vice and Kukin, but losing them both would have been a huge loss. Because the number of demon kings and generals has been decreasing very quickly recently. Tilia's bowed his head. Things are going worse than you expected, Zito. Because of Ayula, it has been delayed for Jito to be able to come out with royalties, and the resistance from royalties is also strong. And for some reason the Biceps seem to be well aware of this fact. Me, Missile. Sakiel's eyes narrowed. Did you know that as soon as we started investing in royalties, the attacks by Viceps became more frequent? I recently had a dinner with the demon lords at Ragelfern's castle, but I didn't hear anything like that. It was a meeting where Layla and Dylas were together, right? That very day your castle was attacked. I heard that Bassett appeared in Layla's last name and Toilet appeared in Dylas' last name. 10 generals were killed. More than 200,000 of the demons in the city were kidnapped. Did you say 200,000? Biceps was kidnapping demons every time he attacked. Because I thought that was the way to prevent ordinary demons from being reduced to Jito's playthings. Up until now it was around 10,000 to 20,000 at most. Suddenly kidnapping those 200,000 people probably means that Bassett's abilities have become stronger for some reason. It may have absorbed the power of the demons it has kidnapped, or the weakened abilities of the immortal zone may have been restored. It is not for nothing that the land ruled by bishops was given the name Immortal. Tilia's was easily able to understand Sakiel's intentions. I'm also from bishops, so I guess I want to check if the power of the immortal zone has been restored. In fact, Tilius's powers in the Immortal Zone have been restored to a significant extent. Therefore, in this battle, he was able to block the energy coming from Jito's flesh. It is true that my power has also become stronger. However, according to the numbers you mentioned, Bassett's power has become 10 times stronger than before. It must be on a level that cannot be compared to mine. So I think Bassett hasn't gotten stronger, but is hiding his strength. You were hiding your power. Sakiel nodded and smiled. At times like this, I think it would be great if Tilius had more hidden powers. You two please pull yourself together now and prepare to face Moby Dick once again. Missile? Missile pretended to be scared and rolled her eyes. So far you two are the only demon lords who fought Moby Dick and returned alive. So there should be more opportunities. If I meet Moby Dick and come back alive again, I won't stop doubting him then. Sakiel was saying something like that. Either live and be suspected or die and prove your innocence. It was clearly the worst response from Sakiel that Tilius had expected. Next time I will have no choice but to die at the hands of Moby Dick. If I come back alive again, Sakiel will definitely ask Jito to torture me. Tilius had already endured Zito's torture. But I didn't have the confidence to endure it one more time. This time he will tell everything about Biceps during the torture, so it would be much better to tell Luna the situation and then disappear. All right. Next time I will definitely exhaust Moby Dick's red power. Yes, I look forward to it. Please just leave. Oh wait. Jito. Bubbling. Suddenly Sakiel's crystal ball changed to a boiling state, revealing Jito's face. Hey Sakiel. Are you crazy? Jito? Why are you doubting Tilius again? Did that guy forget that he already had a serious interview with me? Sorry. Let Tilius and Missile get some rest and send the others to catch the white whale. Did you understand? Heaven helped. Thinking like that, Tilius sighed deeply. If he and Missile disappeared now, the relationship with the Bamul Alliance that he had worked so hard to build could become ambiguous. I will. Yes, I will continue to give you pieces of flesh, so tell the Demon King and the generals to deal with Moby Dick properly. Swear at me. As the energy of Jito in the crystal ball subsided, Sakiel wiped away a sweat. I'm sorry for doubting you, Tilius. Please go back. No, Sakiel. If you need anything else, please call me anytime. Missile. And at that time Jito trembled in the Jinma world and smiled. Oh, when I look at our cuties, I just want to bite them to death. Isn't it? Hilurum. Kinjalo new headquarters. From the day Orgel volunteered for the wall, Jonah left the Lutero Magic Federation and infiltrated Kinjalo's land. Hyenas. Look at this. It's a king ant. The king ants we've been looking for so long have finally appeared. Oh, Bouvard. It's really a king ant. It's so big. It looks like it's almost as big as your forearm. Of course, the actual size of the ant was about half a finger. Let's quickly report to the leader. TSK, all right, Buvar. I'm sure he will give you a big reward. Watching the two people sitting in the front yard of the new headquarters every day looking at ants, Jonah became curious. What on earth are those stupid fish doing in Kinjalo? Bouvard was clear. He created various artifacts including demon stones with his ability called sculpting, and thanks to this he always received special treatment no matter how foolish he did. But Aina's Caligo really has nothing to do. It's just that Bianca Caligo's younger sister has a high status as a princess of the Caligo family. Aside from those facts, Aina's just seemed like surplus manpower. Hey, I hope I can get some information that my youngest will like today. While Jonah was feeling even more discouraged, Buvar and Aina's put the king ants in a glass jar. Kuchel Helhul. Kiki. What reward will you give me? Kinjalo's two idiots didn't know, but Jonah knew that there was no Orgel in the new headquarters right now. While walking around the new headquarters in the morning, he confirmed that he and Zephyrin had gone somewhere through the steel door. Therefore, at the new headquarters, there is no one who can definitely recognize him who has hidden his presence to the extreme. If you enter the conference room, the only dangerous ones are Bianca White Tigerfish and Red Tigerfish. Bianca Baraked Badray. Jonah thought about the three for a moment and decided to enter the conference room. It was worth taking that risk to gain new information. Naturally, Bouvard and Aina's did not notice the presence of Jonah, who was right behind them. The same was true for the countless beastmen and demons I encountered on the way to the conference room. Captain, I can finally show you the king ants. The two people burst out of the conference room and shouted cheerfully. As soon as Bishkul saw them, he touched his forehead, and the other executives also sighed and waved their hands. Jonah hid behind a pillar on one side of the conference room, and it was the most dangerous moment. Hey, if those stupid fish hadn't caught my attention for a moment, I might have been caught. There doesn't seem to be any white tigerfish or red tigerfish. Although most of the major superhumans, including Orgel and Zephyrin, were not there, Yona was a little nervous, as she did not know the exact inaction of the executives gathered in the conference room. Fortunately, the executives seemed to be scolding Buvar and Anas without feeling anything special. King ants? Did you say king ants? What should I do if I brought something like that? Buvard. How long are you going to keep turning me inside out? Bishkul. What are you saying? Last time the leader said that there is no such thing as an ant the size of your forearm, and that if you brought something like that you would be rewarded. That's right, Vice Captain. No. That's just something the leader was saying because he was frustrated with the behavior of the two of you Anas. What do you mean? Are you going to judge the Vice Captain just because the Vice Captain isn't around right now? Well, to begin with, that ant isn't even the size of your forearm. That's what they say. Does the Vice Captain not even know what a metaphor is? Where are you, leader? The leader has now gone to meet the Jiakmyong tribe. Good information has already arrived. Hey, I went to meet the Jiakmyong tribe. Jonah smiled and continued to listen. Bishkul was trembling and sighing repeatedly. Hey Anas, we are in an important meeting, so please leave. Who are you? Get out, Mara. Do you really want this to be true? Is this a challenge? I'll accept it as much as I want. Ranka stood up quickly and calmed down his anger. That's enough. If I hit you, only problems will arise. If you're pulling it out because you're afraid of my sister, there's no need to do that. I won your so come on. Am I afraid of Bianca? If I hit you, the magician will kill me. As soon as Yona heard the word Wanmajang, she remembered what Jean had heard and told her to leap. All right. Shagal Bakma, who was suppressed by Lord Soga at the new headquarters, is a member of the Phantom Clan, so let's first look for information about him. In that case, the Wanmajang would have been the head of the Bakmag family. Anas huffed and screamed as if her pride had been hurt. I won't even tell my dad. It really pisses me off. It was the moment when Anas Kaligo revealed that Bakma was the daughter of the family head. And then the conference room opened and a new person entered. Ranka, are you really bullying my daughter? It's not Master Wanma. Anas unilaterally started a fight with me, so I stayed quiet. I see. Are you here, Pirhops? Pirhops Bakma, that was the name of the magic hall. Okay. You've worked hard, Vice Captain. It's nothing compared to what Pyrops has been doing recently. Jonah was getting more and more excited. As soon as you enter the conference room, high-quality information is pouring in. However, as soon as Pirhops entered, tension soared rapidly. I think that fish called Wanmajang will recognize me right away. The good news was that Pirhops was very tired right now. If Pirhops had been fine, it would have been discovered immediately. I can only hope that the Phantom Demon leader will leave without staying in the conference room for long. It's been a while since my heart felt so good. Immediately Jonah was able to hear why Pirhops was exhausted. I do a lot of things. I don't know about those who aren't of our clan, but looking into someone else's dream is a very painful thing. If you're not careful, you could fall into that other person's dream and end up lost. In fact, there are 3 phantom demons who entered the dreams of Jeep leaders and have not yet returned. As soon as Yona heard those words, he was able to realize how Kinzalo had recently obtained information about Jeep. I think the information about Alona was found through something other than a transaction. That's my opinion too. It's also the case that the Jinma Realms invasion has some leeway. Let's find out what kind of moves they have. Contact Jet Nameless and ask them to dispatch Yona to Kinzalo. Since we can't penetrate Alona's side anyway, it would be better to look at Kinzalo's side. Yes, Nari. One thing that is certain is that there is something in Kinzalo that should not be seen in the Jinma world. A conversation between Jean and his colleagues after Orgel decided to support the barrier. At the time, Jean wondered how Orgel found out that Alona was injured. Jonah is now peeking into the secret. Are those 3 people never going to be conscious? That's what will happen unless I save it myself. Among our clan, people with dream abilities are very rare, so we must find them. That means that soon I will have to enter Ilona Ziffel's dream once more. I'm just sorry because there's nothing I can do to help. What do you have to be sorry for, Vice Captain? Anas, I just hope that our lovely daughter awakens her dreaming ability quickly and helps her father. Oh, I like Caligoga. A sword is much cooler than a dream ability. Like older sister Bianca. Oh, Anas. You are not as talented with a sword as Bianca's claws. To put it bluntly, an ordinary human who has trained for about 10 years would not be able to lose to you with a sword. On the other hand, when his ability to dream reaches its full potential, he will far surpass his father. Ugh, Dad, how could you say such harsh words to me? Your dream ability is absolutely necessary for our cause. Infiltrating into Lokia Ganesto's dream is too much for my abilities. So stop being stubborn and follow your father. Since ancient times, we demons have treated those with dream abilities the best. The potential for dream abilities that surpass the illusion field was the value of Anas Caligo. Chet, the other day my dad almost begged me for a favor, so I went into Kiliak's dream even though I didn't feel like it. It really wasn't fun at all at that time. How can you do that for the rest of your life? That's because only you are born with such abilities, Anas. If you keep refusing your father's requests, the leader will have no choice but to make you give orders. I hope something like that doesn't happen between me and my daughter. Rather, Ranka, you bastard. How dare you threaten my daughter? No, Master Wanma, that's not it. Die, you bastard. For a moment, the sound of Pirhops assaulting Ranka was heard. Jonah opened his eyes wide and looked back on the information he had just heard. So Kingelo has already had contact with Kiliak Ziffel through dreams. The moment I thought that, suddenly Pirhops narrowed his eyes and stopped extending his fist towards Ranka. Did you get caught? Jonah was behind the pillar and could not see it directly, but he felt a change in the air. Mr. Pirhops. Sure, for some reason, I feel like there's a rat hiding there. Are you a rat? Isn't it? First, everyone stop moving. I'll have to check the conference room to make sure I'm not even breathing. Pirhops slowly began to look around the conference room. The distance from the pillar where Jonah was hiding was about 50 paces, so the moment he moved even a little he would be discovered. Even if you stay still, it will eventually take about 10 seconds. Jonah placed his hand on his sword Death in his arms. Soon Pirhops was about to walk towards the pillar where Jonah was. Suddenly someone hurriedly entered the conference room. What's going on? Vice Captain Pirhops. Lady Margila is on a rampage. As soon as Pirhops received the member's report, he turned around without thinking for a moment. As if it was something that couldn't be delayed even for a second. Follow Anas. I'll go too. When Pyrrhus and Bishkal left, Jonah loosened his grip on Death. Ranka and other executives shrugged their shoulders and searched the conference room, but their abilities were not enough to find and capture Jonah. I almost got into big trouble. I should quickly go tell the youngest. About 20 minutes later, Jonah came out of the new headquarters humming a tune. Bouvard and Anas found the king ants. Orgel went to meet the Giakmeong tribe. There is a guy called the Phantom Master. His name is Pirhops Bakma. He is strong, sharp, and has the ability to dream. Inez has the potential for dream ability beyond that of Pirhops, the daughter of Pirhops. However, she wants to use a sword like Bianca Caligo. However, she says she is really not good at swords. Pyrops received information through a dream that Ilona was injured. He plans to enter Ilona's dream again, soon to rescue other phantom demons caught in Ilona's dream. Also, it appears that she came into contact with Kiliak through her dream ability. It seems that Anas entered Kiliak's dream once. It is said that Pirhops almost begged for a favor. Likewise, Anas' ability was needed to enter Lokia Ganesto's dream. Does it seem necessary? Margila ran out. It looked like a huge emergency. Runkendal's sword garden. Those gathered in the conference room continued to express their admiration as they looked at Jonah's report. There was only one person in this world who could infiltrate Kinzelo's conference room and steal this much information. Jonah. Yona. You brought great information. Pyrops Bakma, the Illusion Master and the Dream Ability. Dream Ability. Naturally, the Bamul Coalition had never even imagined such a thing. To begin with, not much was known about the abilities and powers possessed by demons. Do our ancestors who experienced the Battle of the Holy Kingdom know nothing about the ability to dream? I don't know exactly, but there is something to point out. During the battle for the defense of the Holy Kingdom, I had the feeling that our operations were constantly being leaked to the enemy. At that time, I did everything I could to find the spy, but in the end, I couldn't find anything. So we assumed that among the demons, there was some kind of prophetic ability. Guess it was a dream ability. As Alpin and Tasha spoke, Leet nodded. Even 1,000 years ago, the Wanma clan caused chaos in royalties. The knights of my family would have nightmares and lose their minds because of them. But I didn't know that it was possible to confirm information known to the subject through dreams. Wasn't even the magician Alona Ziffel able to stop the phantom demons who infiltrated the dream? That seems to mean that the Phantom Master can come into all of our dreams if he wants to. However, among the information brought by Lady Jonah, there is also the existence of phantom demons caught in dreams. This means that there is a certain degree of risk involved in using the dream abilities of phantom demons. But my head hurts. If even Alona can't be stopped, it's only a matter of time before all the information we have is stolen. It was Leet and Ballas. It won't just be a matter of time, Chief Butler. If it were that simple to use dream abilities to get information, Orgel wouldn't have been so upset by me. Oh, that's right. Also, Alona Ziffel is a gentleman, but as Ameri said before, she is not someone who became a gentleman through training and awakening. So you may be somewhat lacking in the strength and will to protect your consciousness. That's why you may have entered Alona's dream, not Baradin's. But if you look at the part about entering Kiliak's dream, it doesn't seem like that. Now that I think about it, even 1,000 years ago, knights with exceptional willpower suffered less from nightmares. In the case of Kiliak, wouldn't it be because Inez Kaligo's dream ability is superior to that of Pirhops? According to the circumstances of the report, it appears that Pirhops cannot enter Kiliak's dream alone without Ina's help. That makes sense. Inez Caligara. Was it also the case that he had special abilities like Buvar? It said that Inez's abilities were needed not only for Kiliak, but also for peeking into Lokia Ganesto's dreams. Apart from the dreaming ability of this great-grandson, Inez. First of all, doesn't the fact that he infiltrated Kiliak and Lokia's dreams mean that Kingelo knows their location? Of course, you can great-grandfather. However, if the exact location of the two was known, it seems more likely that Orgel would have attempted to make direct contact. It's like I'm going to meet the enemy tribe. Or even if you don't know the location, you might be able to infiltrate if you have something related to it. For now, I can only guess. In particular, Orgel held a great grudge against Lokia Ganesto. If he knew Lokia's location, he would definitely have tried to kill or capture her. And there was a high possibility that he would have asked Jean for help in the process. It's frustrating because I know that the enemy has special abilities, but I can't think of a suitable way to deal with it. Chief Butler, can't you do anything? I don't know how to completely block dream intrusion. However, I think it would be a good idea for me and Valeria to check our colleagues' records every day. Oh, are you saying that you check every day to see if there has been a dream intrusion? Yes. It may be a little less privacy-friendly, but it seems like the best option for now, unless the dream ability can override even recording magic. When reached to its extreme, recording magic can even reveal Zippel's manipulation of history. There is no way that the powers of a single demon would not appear in the records. Of course, this task will also be easier once the mass production version of the Red Owl is completed. Currently, Valeria and I cannot travel throughout the Union every day. The mass production version of the Red Owl seems to be a bit delayed due to Dr. Quall spending a lot of time on the barrier, but it will be completed soon. If possible, I think we must secure Inez Kaligo in the future. You're right. As of now, there will be no benefit from messing with Inez for no reason. There is no need to instill hostility in the powerful strongmen when the Jinma realm alone is too much. Not only Inez, but also Bouvard Gaston. Those two are Kinjilo's top core personnel. This concludes the summary of how to deal with dream abilities. It's probably obvious why Orgel went to meet the Jiakmyong tribe. Transaction. They went through the same period in ancient times, so it is highly likely that Orgel knows the information the Red Ming clan needs. After it was revealed that he was one of the heads of Amaris, Zephyrin regained some of his ancient memories. Since he knew about the destruction of the Bangma Wall, which Amaris had forgotten, it was a given that Orgel would have information that would allow him to make a deal with the enemy clan. It's a deal. Then isn't it possible for those two to become allies? Great-grandson. Kinjilo will not hastily form an alliance with the enemy clan. In the first place, the ideologies are different, and it would be burdensome for Kinjilo to completely turn his back on Jeep in this situation. If Kinjilo were to form an alliance with the enemy tribe, it would be one of two things. Either Kinjilo has a powerful hidden faction or the enemy tribe has the means to defeat Jeepal. Neither of them were unlikely, but Jean had almost ruled out the possibility of the two forming an alliance. It's also obvious why Kinjilo is trying to contact Kiliak. Kiliak is a bit of a mess right now, so you might want to recruit him as an ally. Even as Kiliak, relying on Kinjilo wouldn't be that bad. There would be no answer to coming to Runkendal or returning to Jeep. Of course, we cannot rule out the possibility of it joining forces such as the Jiakmyong clan or the Imperial Jinma realm. However, as of now, Kiliak is a person who could be a meaningful ally to Jean. His fire and mine are polar opposites. However, since it is essentially the same fire, I think that maybe I can use it to manifest. Through the power of Shenu. First, we will prepare for the war against the true demon realm and find out information about Shenu. Shenu was trying to make a deal with me, so we might be on good terms. A conversation I had with Tess a while ago. Therefore, Jean wanted to secure Kiliak first. Although it is impossible to accept him as a member of the alliance, we can use each other to meet our needs. The Bamul Alliance has been tracking Kiliak's location since meeting Shenu, but there has been no significant results yet. I have no choice but to rely on Jonah again to find Kiliak's whereabouts. If you keep watching Anas, you may be able to find some clues. Now there was only one thing to say about the information Jonah brought. Margila Eviliano. He is Vishkal's younger brother, and a person whose true nature is unknown and whose abilities are not exactly known. Margila stormed out, and Pyrops Bakma left immediately even though he had the feeling that someone was hiding in the conference room. This means that Margila is an important figure within Kinjilo. And Pirhops was probably the only person who could control Margila's rampage at the time. I have always felt that Margila was a very important character in Kinjilo. Margila always appeared as a representative of Kinjilo when Orgel and Zephyrin were not present. It seems to be controlled through that dream ability. I'm curious about why she drank too much and what happens when she drinks too much. However, Sagaju, I somehow think that Margila's rampage is related to the Jinma realm. Although the Bamul Alliance does not know, Margila actually went berserk once due to a mental attack from the evil god during the Battle of the Evil God. The reason why Margila went on a rampage now was for a similar reason. I think so too, Chief Butler. Do you remember what I said when Orgel came to reinforce the wall? Yes, I remember. You said that there is something in Kinjilo that should not be seen in the Jinma world. So they deliberately sent reinforcements to the wall. Jin's eyes narrowed. I think that might be the presence of Margila Ibliano. Next time you meet Tilias and Mysol, it would be a good idea to ask about her. Firel, the city of the ancient dwarfs of the middle world. It's a demon. What I was expecting was friends from the enemy tribe. Orgel came out of Firel and looked at the demons who blocked him. About 100 demons were pointing their swords in silence. The demons couldn't make any facial expressions. There were no facial features on the faces of the demons, as if it was a sign that it had not been completed yet. It was just as smooth as well-polished plaster. Besides, you knew in advance that I would come. Go tell your master that there is no need to waste the weapons you worked so hard to create. I just came here today to talk. The demons had no answer. Orgel shrugged his shoulders and pulled out his sword as if there was nothing he could do. It looks like there are some resources left. Right? Swak dash. The demons at the forefront all rushed at Orgel and swung their swords. And as soon as Orgel received the first attack, he was able to understand why the Imperial family was so confident in sending out the demons. It's too sharp to think of it as a biological weapon without an ego. It must be quite annoying. Of course, no matter how excellent a biological weapon it is, Orgel has not yet fully recovered from the injuries suffered by Paiolato. I could barely feel a sense of danger from the Magian troops. Orgel cut down the demons who rushed in first and sprayed sword energy to prevent them from creating a siege. Naturally, the demons continued to throw themselves at Orgel as if it was no problem even if some of their limbs were cut off or their heads fell off. The battle continued in what looked like a one-sided massacre of Orgel. The demon's sword could not even make a small scratch on Orgel's body. However, just as Orgel decided that more than half of the demons had been destroyed, Orgel swallowed in vain as he saw the face of a demon standing in front of him change. Mine had a face similar to a person Orgel knew a long time ago. Timar? Timar Runkendal. Mine's facial features were almost identical to those of Timar at that time. Both the long hair that had grown rapidly and the way he held the sword resembled Timar. The movements also changed drastically. The attack of the demon that turned into Timar instantly sent a chill down the back of Orgel's neck. Imperial. Did Timar's body ultimately create this terrible thing? One by one, the demons continued to change into Timar. Orgel has already confirmed more than a dozen cases, and they have been putting pressure incomparably stronger than before. Of course, even if it were, it could not be compared to the real Timar Runkendal. However, the demons were imitating Timar not only in appearance but also in their fighting methods. A magic swordsman who rarely uses magic. However, it does not only use formal magic but with every sword strike, aura and magic explode at the same time. Seek dash. The swords of the demons engulfed in brilliance began to pass over Orgel's entire body. Now all the demons have completed their transformation. Do you lose your regenerative ability after turning into Timar? The demons who changed their appearance seem to have lost their super regenerative abilities. Just like a human being, if a person was cut somewhere, red blood would ooze out, and the cut part could not be reattached immediately. And it felt like a person with a will, especially the fighting spirit to kill the enemy. It seemed like it was the only way to deal with a maximized human being. If these people had used spiritual energy, it wouldn't have ended up being a little annoying. Although Timar's body was analyzed and applied to mine, the spiritual energy is the power of Sodaret, not Timar. Even if it were not Timar's body but Sodaret's body, it would not be possible to imitate it. Orgel knew exactly why the Imperial family was able to create mass-produced demons like Timar. They must have analyzed Timar's left arm, which they possessed. The process would definitely have required the technological prowess of the Jiakmyong tribe. I knew that the Imperial family would be joining hands with those guys, but to the extent that they were provided with this kind of technology, it looks like they have completely taken the initiative against those arrogant guys. But there was one thing Orgel didn't know. The Imperial family was unable to imitate Reiki, but instead added other abilities to the demons. Fuzz, that is. Suddenly, the sound of a thunderbolt about to explode was heard, and Orgel looked at the demons with a start. It was the brain machine used by the Qingming tribe, the origin of the Ming dynasty. The deep blue brain energy unique to the Qingming tribe instantly covered Orgel. Orgel was confused for a moment. This was because they had not yet heard any news that the Qingming tribe had appeared. I remember that the Qingming tribe definitely suffered much more damage from the Big Snake than the Red Ming tribe. Are the survivors helping the Imperial family? Variables continued to be revealed. First, we have to deal with all the demons and meet the Imperial family in person to get everything sorted out. Orgel raised his energy and surrounded his sword with even darker aura and magic energy. The more demons I cut, the more sick I felt. It's nothing compared to the master craftsman that Joe is producing. Of course, the master swords will be great weapons when development is fully completed, but the magic swords are still unfinished. Kinjalo has invested heavily in masters for a long time. However, the Biogolem, a magic swordsman created by Zippel, was already completed, and a special entity called Betty Almatia Kuin had been released, and the Imperial Demon was also surpassing the master. When I get back, I'll have to brush up on Joe and Bouvard even more. The number of demons was decreasing again. There were about 30% of the remaining demons, and nearly an hour had already passed since the battle began. Stop fighting. Mine's voice was heard for the first time. It was mine who was in the rear ranks throughout the battle. As soon as he gave the command, all the demons stopped moving at once. Orgel looked at the demon carefully. The demon was hiding its energy. However, even though the energy was hidden and covered by clothes, Orgel clearly recognized it. It's something to lament about. He is a demon with the left arm of Timar and the bright heart of the Qingming tribe. Other demons were simply created by analyzing the information left on Timar's left arm, but that entity had his left arm transplanted into it. I don't know who the Qingming clan's light heart belongs to, but I felt at least the brain power of the current Ming dynasty's Tuong level. Orgel, why did you come to visit Pirhal without warning? His Majesty has never permitted an audience with you. Is it because you were born without it? You're too obsessed with playing emperor. I originally came today to meet the Red Ming, not the ancient cockroaches. An ancient cockroach? That's uncomfortable to hear. But if our royal family is a cockroach, aren't you also the same? Orgel Ramilias. Ramilias. It had been a long time since I met someone who spoke that name. Orgel smiled and looked at a man who had just left the city. He stood next to mine, who had Timar's left arm transplanted, and his eyes sparkled. There is someone who still hasn't forgotten that name. Even I had forgotten it until recently. You also have a good memory. Who are you? There have been many names over the years, but now the name is Manav Vaimant. Manav Vaimant. He, along with Vival Vaimant, was one of the most important figures of the imperial family. Did you carelessly reveal yourself trusting the biological golem that had Timar's arm transplanted? That's right. If you had arrived intact, you would have taken refuge in advance. In perfect condition. That meant that Orgel was currently injured, and it also implied that even without injury, he was not in perfect condition. Right now, no matter how much you are, you won't be able to defeat this friend. Oh, let me introduce you. As you can see, this is Timar Vaimant, the best mine we've ever made. There are still a lot of things left to adjust. Haha, it's getting worse. Aren't we going too far just because Jean Runkendal isn't here? What are you going to do with Timar Vaimant if Jean Runkendal finds out? He can't find us right now, so it's okay. Don't you know, Orgel? We have always survived this way, and we still live this way, pointing an invisible sword at the throats of the powerful. What we do best is survive. More than anyone else. Ancient cockroach. When Orgel said that, it wasn't just an expression. In fact, the Beemont royal family was treated just like cockroaches back then. They are numerous and unpleasant, and no matter how many times you kill them, they come back from somewhere. It's a story I have no choice but to admit. In a time when the Red Myong tribe, the Blue Myong tribe, and the powerful of the true demon world were infested, you Melkas were the only ones who survived without ever being sealed. Melka. That was the name used to refer to the royal family in ancient times. The Melka tribe is a byword for being powerless and ignored. However, the current Melka people or imperial family had a power that no power could look down on any longer. The success you have achieved as a person from Ramilias, a symbol of excellence in the true magic world, is also remarkable. There are similarities between us and you, Orgel. The reason the Melka people were looked down upon at that time was not just because they had no power. It would be better not to make such comparisons. You originally came here to talk to the Red Ming tribe, but it's not the Red Ming clan that's here, it's us. Don't you know what this means? What if you don't know? The Red Ming tribe is currently under the control of our imperial family. So this means that if you want to do business, you have to do it with the owner on the leash, not the dog. And we've already given you top-notch information, because I showed you Timar Vaimant in person. Wouldn't that be enough to try to make some kind of deal with Jean Runkendal in the future? It could be so. It would be your wish for me to tell Jean Runkendal about the demon. Shall we give it a try? You'll want the enraged Jean Runkendal to put more effort into the imperial court. The Bamul Alliance will have to deploy a recording wizard to find you, and then you will capture her in some way. Manav did not respond but made eye contact with Orgel. But you don't know anything about Jean Runkendal. Even if I tell him what I saw today, do you think he will put more effort into the imperial family in this situation? It's not even helpful in subduing the Jinma realm. Jean Runkendal will quietly let go of his anger. And when it's my turn to kill you, I won't show you any mercy. Orgel turned his back. Who, Orgel? Are you planning to leave without saying more? We do not have any dealings with Melka. I have not yet forgotten the ancient common sense. I will use the information I showed you today when the time is right. Oh, and tell it to Iran Beamont. If you go too far, you will die by my hands before Jean catches you. Kinjalo has had many dealings with our imperial family in the past, so he's good at saying things like that. That was before you guys showed your true colors like you do now. I'll just head back. As Orgel began to walk, Manav said with a grin, Lokia Ganesto, I guess you don't want to hear anything about him at all.